Gaffey Street pedestrian bridge.
3, 2, 1.
With the flip of a switch, a new lighted sign welcomes people to San Pedro.
I think it's fantastic. I appreciate the fact that the bridge is now light and bright and provides a nice entry into the city.
The sign brightens the Gaffey Street pedestrian bridge overlooking the 110 freeway. 1,200 feet of blue LED lights serve as trim, illuminating nighttime strolls with its mellow glow. The now azure archway is a vast improvement from the original dirty bridge, which often drew vandals. The upgrade also serves another purpose.
To kick off the Great Street program that the mayor has launched, naming Gaffey Street as one of the first great streets in the city of Los Angeles.
LA Mayor Eric Garcetti's Great Streets initiative, launched in May, plans to beautify some of the city's main corridors. Gaffey Street is one of them. Making them more bike and pedestrian friendly is part of the plan.
They should be vibrant public spaces for art, for culture, for our families to enjoy. And along with Councilmember Buscaino, as he mentioned, we've started reaching out to the community because we want you to participate.
Perhaps a sign of more improvements to come. On the new Gaffey Street pedestrian bridge in San Pedro, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
As part of the mayor's Great Streets initiative, 40 streets throughout the city are slated for improvements. No one will likely disagree that the least we can do for those 90 years old or older is to throw them a big celebration. And that's exactly what the city did recently for its senior citizens as a way to pay respect and show gratitude. The Department of Recreation and Parks' annual 90-plus Legacy Luncheon is a tradition honoring the life and works of our city's eldest residents. The Friendship Auditorium was the site of the most recent luncheon, held prior to the new year, in which 336 seniors 90 years old and over attended. Virgie Aguilar was one of them.
The secret for me is not being negative. I love people and I like to talk to them, whether I know them or not. Say hi, because I think that is great that we are here so long.
I recognize that it must be our mission to do all we can to nurture our senior community and make sure that you have the resources you need so that you can have the quality of life that you deserve, that you have earned, because you came before all of us.
An appropriate song for this year's theme, Life is a Journey. In the 22 years this luncheon has been held, 29 of the 90-plus honorees have exceeded the age of 100. This year, Miss Virginia Davis, age 107, was crowned queen for the third year.
For being a wonderful citizen, for encouraging all of us to maintain life as you have. Thank you, Virginia.
This is special. This is special. This is Recreation and Parks at its best.
The amount of experience, the lives that you've lived, and the vast knowledge that you must have has got to be incredible, and to have all that in one room is absolutely amazing.
Each year is better than ever. Each year is better than the last year.
And Virgie Aguilar knows where she's going to be next year, right back here on the dance floor, celebrating life and all that it has to offer. General Manager of Rec and Parks, Michael Scholl, says his goal for 2015 is to have the department begin collecting and documenting the stories of our city's senior citizens to pass down to future generations. Saving the environment and saving money. Find out about a limited offer by the LADWP and the reopening of a dog-friendly pocket park. Also earn up to $100+ a day serving as a poll worker. These stories in City Beat. Los Angeles Department of Water and Power customers who currently receive printed LADWP bills and who sign up for paperless billing through ladwp.com/paperless will receive a $10 credit on their next bill. The offer is only for a limited time through the end of June. Once enrolled, customers will receive bill notifications via email. This will reduce paper clutter and help decrease the environmental impact from printing paper bills. LADWP officials say the program is part of an ongoing effort to reduce the department's environmental footprint. Also, by not having to mail a bill, the department also saves money, which in turn saves customers money. The Department of Recreation and Parks celebrated the reopening of the Dorothy J. and Benjamin B. Smith Park on Franklin Avenue. Located in the Hollywood area, the Pocket Park now includes drought-tolerant plants and trees, decorative single-seat benches, decomposed granite paths, and fixed bag dispensers for dog waste. The park's new design consists of fitness equipment and a trimmed tree canopy to create an inviting pedestrian-friendly setting. Councilmembers Mitch O'Farrell and Tom LaBonge, as well as the Department of Water and Power, all helped to make this project possible. The city clerk's office needs approximately 4,000 poll workers to staff polls for the 2015 municipal elections on March 3rd and May 19th. Poll workers are paid $25 for attending a mandatory training class, as well as a stipend that can range from $80 to $150 for each election day they work. In order to serve as a poll worker, the applicant must be a U.S. citizen and registered voter who will be at least 18 years old on Election Day and is able to speak, read, and write in English. The Election Division is also seeking bilingual poll workers. You can call 1-866-899-VOTE or email clerk.electionpw@lacity.org. A song about Los Angeles has become a YouTube sensation, receiving some 10 million views in less than 2 years. It's also received special recognition from the city. Gil Reyes has more on the Los Angeles song.
Los Angeles, Los Angeles.
It could be the most popular song about our city in all of YouTube. The Los Angeles song is written and performed by LA native Justin Chart. Chart was inspired to write it 2 years ago while hiking through Griffith Park.
My daughter and I around sunset time, and just looking at the complete view, the panoramic view you get there from, the city. And it was just it's a beautiful view. And I just kind of got a feeling.
A deep affection for the city's landscape, history, and creative spirit inspired 5 different versions, including 2 Spanish-language renditions, all from Chart. Together, they've garnered some 10 million YouTube views. That's about 8 million more views than Randy Newman's still very popular I Love L.A.
We are actually at the studio of musician Justin Chart, where you can see some of the other accolades adorned on his wall. 2 city proclamations, one from Mayor Garcetti, the other from Councilman Tom LaBonge, and of course over here, the famous LA Times article.
Chart admits the article penned by Times columnist Steve Lopez helped popularize his song worldwide. He's now courting the city's Department of Cultural Affairs in hopes it can be played at ball games, marathons, and other events.
Sunset state of mind, that's what you'll find right here, oh yeah.
Chart is also working on yet another version of the Los Angeles song, one with some 30 voices representing all of LA's sister cities.
It's going to be huge. We're kind of going to take you through a voyage of all the people who now make Los Angeles their home, who are so grateful and happy to be living here, who've come from all over the world.
In Hollywood, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Mayor Garcetti and Councilman LaBonge issued their city proclamations praising the song last summer. There's now an extra place to sit and relax when you visit the Griffith Park merry-go-round. A new bench was recently dedicated to honor a big fan of the carousel, Walt Disney's late daughter. A favorite LA pastime, a treasured childhood memory for many, an iconic piece of LA history. And back in 1940, Walt Disney would regularly bring his daughters Diane and Sharon to the Griffith Park merry-go-round, where he'd watch them from a bench and begin dreaming of building a theme park that later became a reality, Disneyland.
She spoke so highly of the experience that she and her sister had in coming here with her father and enjoying it.
Walt Disney would pay the operator the merry-go-round extra so that girls could ride and ride and ride and he would be visioning what gave the world one of the greatest places on earth, which is everything to do with Disney. So you're standing on a very special spot.
Diane Disney Miller passed away in 2013. To honor her memory, the owners of the merry-go-round have dedicated a memorial bench bearing her name.
I asked her if I could have a picture of her on the bench, and she said, "Only if you sit with me." That's the kind of lady she was, and those of you who knew her really understand what a warm and marvelous lady she was.
That original bench where Walt Disney sat was also on display. And while the Griffith Park merry-go-round has long been linked to the Disney lore, for many folks, it's also been an important part of their own family history.
It just goes from my heart. It was a lot of fun. It's just memories from when I was a child.
A place of wonder that on any given day can rival Disneyland as the happiest place on earth. Built in 1926 by the Spillman Engineering Company, the merry-go-round was brought to Griffith Park in 1937. And in this week's list of things to do, we have more information on the iconic Griffith Park merry-go-round if you'd like to pay a visit. Also watching the Classic Film Network on the big screen, and an exhibit featuring the works of teen photographers. If our story on the Griffith Park merry-go-round has inspired you to take a spin, here's some additional information. The merry-go-round is open weekends throughout the year and weekdays as well as weekends only during the summer. The hours are 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Griffith Park is located at 4730 Crystal Springs Drive. The merry-go-round is located between the LA Zoo and the Los Feliz Park entrance. The carousel boasts 68 horses finely carved with jewel-encrusted bridles and is accompanied by a Stinson 165 military band organ. Whether it was a place you spent your childhood or a place you're now taking your kids, most will agree the merry-go-round at Griffith Park is indeed magical. Go to laparks.org. On Friday, January 16th, you have a chance to see the classic 1976 film Network on the big screen at the LA County Museum of Art, or LACMA. Directed by Sidney Lumet, the film about the future of network news, which produced the catchphrase "Mad as Hell," features Faye Dunaway, William Holden, Peter Finch, Robert Duvall, Ned Beatty, and on and on. Paddy Chayefsky won an Oscar for his Take No Prisoner screenplay. The film will be screened at LACMA's Bing Theater at 9:40 p.m. LACMA is located at 5905 Wilshire Boulevard. Tickets are $3 for Academy members and $5 for the general public. Go to lacma.org to purchase tickets or for additional information. On Saturday, January 17th, you can catch 224 Miles, a show featuring works by Venice Arts teen photographers Leo Martinez, Zinnia Moreno, Chelsea Ramirez, and Mark Tomalin, created during their educational trip to the Grand Canyon. In July, with digital film and video cameras in tow, the 4 advanced study students went on the journey of a lifetime, using their surroundings as artistic inspiration. You can see their works at the exhibit at the G2 Gallery at 1503 Abbot Kinney Boulevard in Venice from 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. Proceeds will support Venice Arts Youth Opportunities Fund. Go to theg2gallery.com, and that's a look at some upcoming things to do. That's going to do it for this edition. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ellen Chang. A reminder that you could catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.
We are a winning team, stars and the silver screen. We come from near and far to be with the best. We're Los Angeles, Los Angeles. Scentsy and sun, a way of life, the ocean, we're laid back.
Hi, my name is Michael Poon, and I am a tax compliance officer with the City of Los Angeles Office of Finance. In this video, I will provide you with important information regarding the city's new business exemption, otherwise known as the tax holiday. If you are a business establishing its first fixed location within the City of Los Angeles, you may qualify for the city's tax holiday. A business that qualifies for the tax holiday receives an exemption from paying the city's business tax for up to its first 3 tax years of operation. To qualify for the tax holiday, the following criteria must be met. Establish a first fixed location within the City of Los Angeles. Obtain a business tax registration certificate. The business cannot be owned in whole or in part by a person that was engaged in business in an existing fixed location in the city in the immediately preceding tax year. The business cannot be either a construction business, a film producer, or a medical marijuana collective. Please note, if you fail to apply for and obtain a business tax registration certificate, you may lose your ability to qualify for and to receive the exemption for 1 or more tax years. A new business is required to apply for a business tax registration certificate no later than the end of the 2nd calendar month of the business's commencement of operations. For more information about the city's new business exemption or to apply for a business tax registration certificate, please visit the Office of Finance website at www.finance.lacity.org. Thank you for your time. Goodbye.
Thank you, Mr. Labange. Sergeants, please. Again, I want to thank Mr. Bonin, Englander. Would you please be quiet? Sergeants, I'm not going to get into a debate with you. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. It is Friday, January 16th. I want to welcome you to your Los Angeles City Council. This council meets every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, and the public is welcome. Mr. Clerk, we do have a quorum. Could you please call the roll?
Blumenfield, Bono, Buscaino, Cedillo, Englander, Fuentes, Huizar, Carrasco, Correa, Labanz, Martinez, Farrell, Parks, Price, Wesson. 10 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Okay, first order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
Mr. Bonin moves, Blumenfield seconds. Next.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Mr. Huizar moves, Mr. Buscaino seconds. That brings us where?
Mr. President, the Department of Building and Safety recommends that items 1B and 1C be received and filed inasmuch as the liens have been paid. The department further recommends that the lien amounts for items 1I and 1J be reduced to $2,346.48 and $1,828.67, respectively, inasmuch as partial payments were received. And lastly, there is a request from member to continue item 4 to Tuesday, January 20th.
Okay, so without objection, that will be the order. Next order of business.
Mr. President, item 1 is an item notice for public hearing.
Do we have cards?
Yes, sir, we do.
Okay, let's move forward.
That brings us to item 2. It's an item for which public hearing has been held.
Okay, specials, members, I do not see any. Let's prepare to vote on that item. Madam Clerk, if you could please. Mr. Labange.
2.
Mr. Labange.
Did we do 2? This is item 2. On item 2, this is the fire station sale. I just want to know if the money goes back to the fire department or the general fund.
I'll hold this item,
Okay,
and hopefully you can find your answer. So if we have a representative here from the fire department or general services or what have you, could they please speak with Mr. Labange? Mr. Clerk, where are we now? Items 3 through 6?
Yes, sir. There are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay, so without objection, those items are now before this body. Do we have cards?
Yes, sir, we do. We have cards on 3, 5, and 6. That's all items.
Okay, so we'll hold that. That brings us what? To presentations?
That is correct, sir.
Mr. Labange, did you no. Did you get the answer that you needed?
Not yet on 2, but we could hold 2.
If I could get you to come take the chair.
I'll take the chair, Mr. President.
Where's my notes?
You know Arnie Klein?
Yeah, I know.
He does the parade. On Channel 7. Yeah, you got it.
Mr. President, there's been a request from the Department of Building and Safety to continue item 1E for 2 weeks. That brings us to January 30th.
Without objection. I'd like to call on the President of the City Council, Mr. Herb Wesson, for a very special presentation.
Thank you, Mr. President and members. All righty. I am, members, truly honored to make this presentation today. This story began, it's my understanding, somewhere in the great state of Pennsylvania, where a very strong woman was raising her family, and the family acquired a piece of property, and they decided that they were going to sell, or today flip, that property. And that's where it all began, because they hadn't stopped to this point. It was one business deal after another, and the family became very, very successful. And one of the daughters decided that she was going to be the best that she could be, so she helped manage the properties of the family. And whenever they would bring in new tenants or what have you, she would go in, paint the place. She knew how to do plumbing. She knew how to do whatever it took to prepare the property. She became an expert. They decided to come to the great state of California, and it is my honor to present to you today Dr. Dolores McClaney, who is the president and CEO of McClaney Properties. She went to, give her a round of applause. One of the things that when I reflect back on her life that I can really identify with is she is a graduate from Shaw University. It's an African-American school, and I myself graduated from Lincoln University, which is another African-American school as well. And when we look at her, we see just the type of talent that Shaw University was able to produce. She has also received an honorary doctorate degree from Bethune-Cookman, another African-American university, and I have an honorary degree from Lincoln University as well. Trust me, I do not have the real estate holdings. I do not know how to paint. I do not know how to fix plumbing. So there are a lot of things that I don't know what to do. But this family had the belief that for every step that the family took up the ladder of success, that they would turn around and they would help someone else. Who would believe that this young lady would develop to be a real estate mogul, a motivational speaker, an individual that inspires individuals to reach as high as they can reach? With the wealth that the family accumulated, they became givers to various causes of importance. And I just want to highlight just a few of these well-deserved causes. The American Lung Association, the American Heart Association, the American Diabetes Associations, our own Charles Drew University, sickle cell, the United Negro College Fund, and I could go on and on and on, and also she has always made her home, which is a phenomenal home, available to individuals for events so that you could raise money for very, very needy causes. She has over 500 proclamations, accommodations, resolutions. You could wallpaper my entire block with the number of accommodations and awards that she has received. But if you were to go and have a conversation with her today, she would not brag. She would not boast. What she would tell you is that I am a child of God. Let's give Dr. Dolores McClaney a round of applause. Give her a round of applause.
Mr. President, please turn around. All your guests, turn around and look at the admiration.
Mr. President and members, We have some very special guests with us today. And I do want to bring forward, where is the young man from Congresswoman Karen Bass's office? Here, now, I'm going to help you out here. I'm going to show that I can help other people as well. This is a resolution of sorts that will be read into the congressional record declaring, is it today?
It's going to actually be the 20th.
Declaring January 20th, Dr. LaDoris McClaney Day. So I just wanted to say to all of the people that are with us today and those that are watching us on Channel 35 that that will occur on the 20th of this month. I have another friend, a true messenger, who I think has the Lord on speed dial. An individual that I've had the pleasure to work with in what you're beginning to see as the transformation of the Crenshaw area. Ladies and gentlemen, the Bishop of the West Angeles Church of God in Christ, Bishop Blake, and his wife, the lovely wife, the First Lady, they're here. Bishop, I'm going to ask if you would say a few words.
Thank you, Mr. Wesson, President of the Council, to all the council members and to all the citizens of the city of Los Angeles. What a thrill it has been to know and to associate with Dr. LaDoris McClaney. Our relationship goes back many years now. Lady May and I are proud to say that she's a dear friend and a partner and a supporter of so many endeavors that have been important to us. During the most severe years of the African AIDS pandemic, Save Africa's Children contributed over $5 million to more than 400 African orphan care programs in 24 nations on the continent of Africa. As a board member, LaDoris McClaney made her home in Homely Hills available to host fundraisers, and then she traveled with us to many of the nations that have orphanages that Save Africa's Children has supported. She not only contributed liberally to Save Africa's Children, she also contributed directly to many of those institutions providing needed assistance to those children. It was impressive to see her relating to the African children with compassion and providing encouragement to their caregivers. LaDoris McClaney considers wealth to be an instrument to be used to improve the lot of those who need assistance, that we are merely custodians of God's resources. It's been a thrill to observe her give million-dollar gifts to colleges, million-dollar gifts to universities, and then providing scholarships and opportunities for global experience for college students, housing constantly groups of foreign students in her home for extended periods of time. She's a dear friend and a dear supporter of West Angeles Church and our community development efforts. She really does believe that it is more blessed to give than it is to receive. And I'm proud that our civic leaders have called upon us to pause and to appropriately say to LaDoris McClaney, thank you, thank you, thank you. We want her to enjoy her special day of honor, and we want her to know that she will always have a special place in our hearts. Lady May and I and the West Angeles congregation all love LaDoris McClaney very, very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you, great Bishop. I would like to request that a dear friend and supporter the great representative from the 9th District, Mr. Curran Price, join in on this presentation. Mr. Price.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm just so honored and pleased to join in the celebration for Dr. McClaney. She's joined by her family, the Bishop and Mrs. Blake, and just well-wishers. She really has demonstrated that it's possible to do well and to do good, and she's done them both. As a scholar, a philanthropist, an activist, she definitely has made her mark on our city. And most importantly, she is always on the side of children and families. And so I'm just pleased to join with you, Mr. President, and our entire city council and our city as we just recognize the outstanding contributions that Dr. Doris McClaney has made to our city, to our state, and to our nation. And she continues to be a real source of inspiration and encouragement for us all. We're happy to have you here, Doctor. Congratulations. Best wishes. Continued success.
Thank you, Mr. Price and Mr.
Parks.
Mr. Parks.
From the great 8th District, Mr. Parks.
Thank you. LaDoris, I don't have my glasses on, but I know you're there. And I want to say hello to Tommy, because we've known each other for at least 100 years. But I just want to say congratulations. You have kept up that legacy that your mom and your sister, and we can't forget about your sister, the things that she did in this community, and the things you continue to do to ensure that you have been able to touch the lives of so many young people. And I appreciate it and look at you as a friend. And although we see each other periodically, not as much as we used to because you're far busier than I am, but the issues are that you have never lost track of what's significant to this community. I want to say thank you, because so many people will be so willing to just build another gate, another fence in front of their house and just stay inside. You've always opened your house and opened your heart to everyone. Thank you.
Very well said, Mr. Price and Mr. Parks. Before I request the good doctor to speak with us, I want to just say to her, the only thing for me that is not perfect about this day is that we don't have Lewis White with us. She was a very, Lewis depended on her and her family, and many of the people that work in this building remember Lewis White as the chief of staff for Los Angeles City Councilman Nate Holden. Oh, okay, I just got information that there's one additional speaker. A surprise speaker. Surprise speaker. Please come forward. I didn't know. I didn't know.
Hello, my name is Dorothy Ellis, in honor of Dr. LaDoris McClaney and Bishop Blake, esteemed council members and esteemed guests. I am honored to be here to represent my friendship with LaDoris. I'd also like to acknowledge the three ladies who were instrumental in putting this together. Lady May Blake, Mrs. Janice Smallwood McKenzie, yes, and Jacqueline Castillo. Well, I am a little nervous, but I want to tell you this is a deja vu for me, because 30 years ago, I was in this very arena with LaDoris' mother, who gave $6 million to American Lung Association, and I was honored to be with her that day as her private nurse. And now I'm following, her daughter doesn't fall that far from what her mother has done, because she also is giving away millions of dollars to schools all the time. This year, she's given $1 million to Drew and Charles Drew Medical Center, and also to Bethune College, $1 million. She is still a giver, and she will always be a giver.
$1 million bucks.
So that tells you that I have been her friend for over 30 years. Proverbs 13:20 says, "He who walks with the wise grows wise, but a companion of fools suffers harm." Be careful who you choose to be your friend. Be careful who you spend time with, because you and your friend will eventually resemble each other. My friendship with Dolores cannot be described in a single word. We easily share good thoughts and understand each other unconditionally, and I can say that for many people that are here that are her friends. I think I speak for everybody here who's LaDoris' friend. You know you have a friend when you can gain. You must be a friend in order to gain a friend. The greatest evidence of our friendship is her honesty and loyalty to each other, being available to help each other in times of distress and personal struggles. Our friendship is priceless. I love Proverbs. Proverbs 18:24 also states, "A man of many companions may come into ruins, but there is friends who stick closer than a brother." LaDoris is not a fair-weathered friend. Most people want to be your friends when things are going great, and they'll leave you when things are not well. LaDoris is a friend that will be with you until the end. Through difficult times, I have observed LaDoris through the years, going and buying clothing, food for people who are shut in, never asking for anything. Her love is unconditional. She's also will allow people to stay at her home who are recuperating from illnesses for years if they need to, because LaDoris' love is unconditional. Her friendship is unconditional. LaDoris is a true friend. She's not afraid of telling you the truth. She will always have your back if you're her friend. They say the kind of friends you have sometimes determine the type of person you are. This is what I advise: to be careful who you're making as a friend. LaDoris is a friend who has integrity, good thoughts, character, and she never judges me or anyone that I know of. She's always supportive and asks and provides sound, good advice. LaDoris, I want to thank you for being my friend. I'm honored to stand before you today on this special day and say you are my closest, dearest friend forever. And I know I can get a lot of groans from a lot of people because they also feel the very same way. I think that we should all give LaDoris McClaney a round of applause for being the special lady today.
Mr. President.
Well said, and I think that we should give you a round of applause. She had all these little bitty pieces of paper and didn't get one of them out of sequence. Let's give her a round of applause.
Mr. President, I just wanted to say something. Moments before, I had a chance to visit with Dr. McClaney, and we reminisced about Tom Bradley. And I always want to mention his name when we honor someone so special, and she told a special story. And then also, Mr. President, only because there's a small protocol item here, you forgot to introduce one person in this chambers to your left. To your left.
Only you,
I have to do it,
would break the man code and tell the world that I forgot to introduce my wife. Ladies and gentlemen, my wife Fabian is somewhere. I'm going to have to ask the bishop to pray for me that she doesn't do bodily harm. Members, it is with great honor that we, all of us, sign this resolution. Declare this day, the 16th of January, Dr. Dolores McClaney Day. LaDoris, please come forward. It is you. Okay, Doctor, the mic is yours.
President Wesson, all elected officials, my minister, Bishop Charles Blake, my family, my significant other, Mr. Thomas Parker, and the wonderful ladies that are hosting this event today, Lady May Lines Blake, Miss Jackie Castillo, and Miss Janice Smallwood McKenzie. How honored I am to be here today. In 1986, My late mother and I stood in this chambers on a celebration of giving. I had lost my sister 1 year earlier, and my mom felt that it was significant that we choose 11 charitable organizations and give a multi-million-dollar gift. On the way home that day, with all the festivities that went on in this chambers, was a day I'll never forget. My mother was ailing at that time because she had lost her oldest child and was having a lot of health issues. And as we sat in the car going home, she grabbed my hand and says to me, "LaDoris, who would have ever thought a black woman from the backfields of Alabama in complete poverty would be able to parlay from the cotton fields to Holmby Hills? God is truly good." She looked into my eyes and asked me to make a promise to her because she felt that her time was limited at that time, that I would continue the legacy of the McClaney family, mass as much as I could, not for me, but to be able to relinquish it and help someone else. See, my hobby is giving.
Come on.
I love helping people that are less fortunate than I am. I am so grateful, as Bishop Blake being my minister and mentor, to much is given, much is required.
Come on.
What good is gaining the entire world and selfishly keeping it to yourself when you can reach out and help someone else? When the day comes that the Almighty God looks into his book and asks to bring LaDoris McClaney home, I want to tell him, yes, I fed the hungry. I clothed those that did not have clothing. I educated those that were unable to be educated on their own, and I turned it loose to you. I am so grateful today. My heart is heavy with gratitude, humbleness, and the love of everyone in this chamber. There is an old Negro hymn that I live by, and that goes that I'm running to make 100. 99 and a half won't do. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much.
Let's give Dr. McClaney a round of applause. That's very motivational. Mr. President and members, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Clerk, I did get information on item 2. I'd like to call number 2 right up right now. Let's open the roll on number 2. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
13 ayes. Thank you very much. Continue 1F, Mr. Clerk, for 2 weeks. 1F, please.
And 2 weeks, sir, is January 30th.
Without objection. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Englander. Mr. President, that was a very uplifting presentation, and I have this very special young man that I want to give honor to right now. Please welcome to the podium Arnie Kleiner, President and General Manager, KABC Channel 7, Los Angeles. And I still say Los Angeles, even though you're in Glendale, because you're on the banks of the Los Angeles River. So important. Arnie Kleiner, very special man. And please, let's invite your team up here, because I know with Arnie Kleiner, it's about the people around him that he loves and works with. We'll introduce you momentarily here. And I thank you. Arnie Kleiner, for over 45 years, has been in broadcasting. In broadcasting, he's retiring the end of this month as general manager of KABC, where he's held that post since 1996, last century. Isn't that something, Arnie? Over the years, it is values, not just the business of television and news, it's people and community. You see standing here with us today his team, but also in behind the great firefighter Marquez from Station 76, who's key on the Spark of Love program, and recently promoted Jamie Moore, the chief now, Spark of Love, which is one of those programs that he has helped initiate and be involved with all of Southern California. In his work throughout that time, we also have the very important efforts that he's made in his development. I think it was 1968 in Westinghouse Broadcasting in Pittsburgh. It's like the NFL. He's been traded to every team. He's from Pittsburgh to Baltimore, from Baltimore to Chicago, from New York to Boston, back to Baltimore, and then to San Diego. And how lucky we were here in California to have you come to Los Angeles at KABC Television. Prospect Studios, where they were now, the name of Talmadge Studios, where ABC was, Dick Clark was, right there down the street from Marshall High. But he orchestrated the modernization of ABC Television and its network there on the banks of the Los Angeles River, just across the street from Los Angeles in the city of Glendale. But the most important thing about Arnie is his people that works for him, because he cares about people. He's got a great heart, who really does all for those. If you talk to people who are in and around KABC Television, he also is very involved many years with the Children's Hospital Los Angeles and a driving force which has improved the ability for that hospital, that institution, to touch and reach the needs of our children. He's on the board of Autism Speaks and also on the LA Multicultural Leadership Council. He also has a wonderful wife, Carol, who I send my love to, and your family and all their involvement there. And I just wanted to say it's an honor for me, and I wish my colleague Dennis Zine was here, and now he's retired. He's out riding his bike, his motorcycle somewhere in California, but he sends his love. Because Artie also was very involved with the Love Ride, which raised several millions of dollars of a motorcycle ride that brought people together for the sports enthusiasts of cycling, but also to raise money for a very important cause. This is your commendation, Arnie Kleiner. This is your commendation. Salutes all of the work that you have done. Signed by Mayor Garcetti and all the members of the council. You truly are an angel of the City of Angels. But before I have you speak, I'd like to ask the president, if I could. Is that all right? I'll put you on the spot, Madam President. You're president of ABC.
Mr. LaBonge, we've also got members on the queue as well. So if we can turn it over to some of the members first.
Sure, we
Great.
can do that. Good.
Fantastic.
Super, okay.
All right, first and foremost, Councilmember Huizar.
Super.
Thank you, Mr. President. And Artie, ABC is lucky to have you. The city of Los Angeles was lucky to have you. When I saw the agenda today and I saw we were going to recognize you for the work you've done, I thought that was a great idea. I wasn't quite sure if I heard the word retirement there, and I thought it would never come because you are a person with a lot of energy, a lot of ideas. It'll be hard to contain you at home. I know you're going to go off and do a lot of great stuff, but after all the great work you've done, you need some rest, but I know you're going to be out there continuing to do some good work. You know, ABC is so involved at the grassroots level of the city, in the communities, in the neighborhoods where it matters. And I know that flows from the top because you set the example, I think, for the rest of ABC to not only provide good, quality, impartial, fair news, but also the obligation like any other company should have in the city of LA, to be involved in the communities, and you guys have done it so well. I mentioned when the Spark of Love was here not too long ago that when people think toys for the holidays, for those in need, it's a Spark of Love and ABC. And you've just done an incredible job. I think this gives us an opportunity to go out and have some more sushi at your favorite restaurants now that you have more time. But thank you, Artie, for all your work, not only for the work you've done, but just being a class act, a great human being, and that's what matters in this world. Thank you so much. God bless you, Artie.
Great, very well. Very well said. Thank you. And let me just take the liberty to add to that as well. It was fascinating to me because what was just stated was that you really raised the bar for ABC. But you did so for every single major media outlet and for all of us as well, because you were an early adopter to say we've got to get involved. And it wasn't just Spark of Love, and it wasn't just the Children's Hospital. It was feeding the homeless. It was emergency preparedness. It was dedicating your life to making Los Angeles a better place, using the media and the power of the media to do so as well, but setting an example individually for each and every one that you've worked with and inspiring all of us. And so I want to thank you for that as well. And, recently, and we got together for lunch, but I got to share how we got together for lunch and how that transpired. I'm riding my Harley down the 118, and I look over, and there's another Harley rider in the lane next to me, and it's Arnie Kleiner. He looks over at me, and he can't text and ride a Harley, so he looks over to me and says, "Let's have lunch." So the next day I get a call, and we had lunch, and I'm looking forward to some of our rides together as well, but to your wife, to Carol. You're only as good as the spouse next to you, and I'm blessed as well to see the love and passion that you guys have, and this is a team effort. And now that you'll be able to spend all that much more time together, we look forward to hopefully we can get some couple rides going out there as well. But God bless you, a true Angelino who has done and continues to do so much to set an example for all of us. Thank you, Mr. LaBonge, for bringing Arnie Kleiner here to council chambers and recognizing him.
Thank you, Mr. President. And, Rebecca Campbell, who's the president of ABC Television Group here in Los Angeles. Rebecca, please.
Thank you. The ABC-owned television station group, we're owned by the Walt Disney Company, and we have 8 television stations around the country. I live here, I work in Burbank, and I have an office over in Glendale at KABC as well. Our mission of our own television station group is pretty simple. It's to serve our viewers and the communities in which we live, all communities. I had the chance to move here 5 years ago when I had this position. I'm from the East Coast, and I had a chance to work with Arnie and his team. And I want to talk about the team because for Arnie, that's the most important legacy that he's going to pass on. We have a terrific team at KABC. They know the mission. They serve our community each and every day, and Arnie is that leader. And when I came here, obviously this is the city of entertainment, and Arnie Kleiner is a rock star. Yes. He is a rock star in this community, and we will miss him dearly.
Absolutely.
So thank you for all those years.
Rebecca, thank you. Diane Medina, who's the president of our, vice president of our programming and community relations.
Good afternoon. On behalf of all of us at the television station, I want to thank the Los Angeles City Council and, of course, you, Councilman LaBonge, on this recognition for Arnie. Arnie has been the general manager at the television station for close to 20 years, and he will always humbly say that the accomplishments and the commitment, the community commitment of the television station are because of his team, but he is the one that built the team. He is the one that leads the team. He is the one that has set the mission for the team, and he is the one who's provided the resources for that team to excel and be of service to the city of Los Angeles. So it's because of his leadership and due to his leadership that we all look forward to continuing the legacy of Arnie Kleiner and keeping KABC TV in the forefront in its commitment to the community. Thank you.
Hear, hear. Yes.
You're so right, it's commitment community. Please welcome, just to say hello right here, Spencer McCoy, our Vice President of General Sales. Thank you, Spencer. And Teresa, just say hello. Just say hello. You do all the work. You know all the work.
Just want to say that it's truly an honor to be here, and it's an honor because of Arnie Kleiner. You know, a lot of people talk the talk, but Arnie Kleiner walks the walk. He's out there in the community. I honestly believe that Arnie Kleiner has had more rubber chicken dinners than any man in the city of Los Angeles. He's there for the community, he's there for us as employees, and I'm really proud to say that my career was spent with Arnold Kleiner. Thank you.
Teresa San Diego of Public Affairs.
Thank you so much, Councilman LaBonge. I just want to say to Arnie that it is with great gratitude and appreciation that I really thank him for all those years of leadership, his vision, his guidance, and most importantly, the person that he is and the legacy that he leaves behind. Thank you, Arnie.
Thank you. Chief Moore. Chief, get up here, Marquez. Stand next to me. You look good for promotion.
Firefighter Mike Marquez and I are honored to be here to salute Arnie Kleiner and his team at ABC7. He definitely built a team that is committed to giving back to Angelenos. Obviously, we play a big part together with Spark of Love, and through Mike Marquez's work and a whole bunch of volunteers and the assistance of ABC7, we gave out 118,647 toys to needy children. Through the generosity of Angelenos, we gave out just under 120,000 toys to children in the city of Los Angeles with the assistance of ABC7 and the Spark of Love program. So they took our Toys for Needy Children program and just set it completely off the mark. So we want to thank Arnie. We want to salute everybody at ABC7. He's been an incredible leader, an incredible friend to the Los Angeles Fire Department. We want to say thank you, and we know those are going to be very difficult shoes to fill over at ABC.
Arnie, this is here for you. Let's have another big hand and some remarks from Arnie Kleiner.
Well, I had remarks prepared, but you guys have taken the wind out of my sails.
Come closer.
Councilman Huizar, I'm not going to spend a lot of time at home. I don't think my marriage could take it. So, not that we don't love each other, but my wife doesn't want to see me that much. So I am going to be busy. I'm not leaving. I'm just not going to have a job. I'm going to be here. I'm going to stay involved in the community. I'm going to continue my work at Children's Hospital, continue my work with Autism Speaks. I had a meeting with the mayor last week. Said, I'm here, whatever you need. But I love this. Our company, and I first joined Capital Cities, which then became ABC, which is now part of the Walt Disney Company, in 1978 in Philadelphia, where Rebecca came from. And the two gentlemen running that company at the time were named Tom Murphy and Dan Burke. And they said, if you want to do well, you have to do good. And it affected me then, and I've carried that through my entire career. And we do a lot of good in this community, and you've all mentioned it, and we're also doing pretty well. So it's good. We're #1 in the ratings, which just thrills me, because we weren't always, but I do have a great team, and I have to tell you, if it weren't for my team, and it wasn't for Channel 7, you would not know who Arnie Kleiner was. So no, that's the truth. But I want to tell you, it doesn't just go down, it has to go up. And I didn't know Rebecca was going to speak, but I would have said, my boss is here, and you would have said, you have a boss? I didn't know you had a boss. Well, I do, and she's fabulous. So, and we would not be allowed to do all the things we do if Rebecca didn't want us to. So not only does she let us do it, she encourages it, and if necessary, I think she would insist upon it. So I accept this, and I'm so grateful. I've had a great run, but I accept it on behalf of the television station because that's who deserves all the credit. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Arnie. This is good here. You get this shot right up here. Get in here. Get in, Diane. Get in here, too. Get on your tiptoes.
And another round of applause for Arnie Kleiner Day in L.A.
Got it right there. Good job. Okay, Paula, let's into this other room real quick for a couple more pictures. Thank you, members, and
Thank you, Councilmember Labange. Thank you. Okay, Councilmember Mike Bonin, the floor is yours.
Hey. Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, colleagues. Colleagues, today I am here to present my second YES Award. As you may recall, late last year I presented the first one to Zaki Mustafa. It's an award I've created to thank city employees who help cut red tape and help get to YES and help do everything they can to make our neighborhoods great and beautiful. I had envisioned these awards as awards that would be given to individuals. But when I was thinking about this award today, I really had to give it to an entire team of folks who literally put their health and their safety at risk to keep our neighborhoods beautiful and clean. These are some of the outstanding public servants today from the Bureau of Sanitation. There's a lot of folks in LA who go about their lives and they take healthy streets, beaches, and oceans for granted, but these are the unsung heroes here who make sure that that stuff happens. They're more than just inspectors. They are environmental stewards. They curb urban runoff at the curb before it reaches the storm drains. They safeguard our beaches and they protect our health, our environment, and our neighborhoods. The work they do throughout the city is commendable, but I'm giving them this award today because of the absolutely heroic, constant, non-stop, really gross work they often have to do in Venice. We've discussed a lot of the court cases that have led to encampments and some of the problems in our residential neighborhoods, and they're most acute in Venice. On a regular basis, I have to call the Bureau of Sanitation. Adele is on my speed dial. I have called him at a Saturday night at 9 p.m. I've called him on a Sunday afternoon at 3. I've called him early in the morning on a weekday. I've called him late at night. And there is not a time when Adele has ever said no. And there is not a time when his crew has ever failed to go out and respond. And the kind of stuff they have to do, they literally pick up and clean up human feces. They clean up urine. They pick up shivs. They pick up syringes. They pick up hazardous materials. This is stuff that is outside of people's homes, in our alleyways, and on what should be a crown jewel for the city, Venice Beach. And on a regular basis, they're out there cleaning it up. And every time they do it, I get compliments from the community for their courteous service, how prompt they are, and how good they are at what they do. It is not at all a glamorous job, but their priority is to put our neighborhoods first and to really do some tough work. So I want to thank a bunch of them here today. First, Adele, I'm probably going to butcher your last name. I'm sorry. I think we all know Adele from Bureau of Sanitation. Adele Haja Khalil? Did I get it right? All right. Steve Peterson. Where's Steve? Oh, there you go. Gonzalo Barriga. And these are not in order. All right, let me do it this way. You'll get yours in a second. Where's Michael Evers? Right. All right. There you go, sir. Michael Miller. There you go, sir. Howard Wong. Right, sir. There you go. Gonzalo. Thank you very much. And Eric Lee. He's off today. Colleagues, before I ask Adele to speak, these guys are here with heavy hearts today. Last night, suddenly they lost one of their colleagues to a heart attack. Division manager from Solid Resources Division, Javier Polanco, who was in his late 40s, young children, passed away suddenly, and it's a day of immense grieving for their entire department, and want to express on behalf of all of us on the council our condolences to all of you.
Thank you, Councilman. Thank you, honorable council members. It's hard to be here today. We're here with heavy hearts, losing a colleague last night. It's difficult, but this is how we do it in Los Angeles. It doesn't matter rain or shine, day or night, whether we have issues at home or not. We carry the business of the residents of Los Angeles with pride, with honor, protecting public health and environment, and doing it in a way that's second to none. And today, receiving this award is something that we wanted to do in his honor of Javier Polanco, who worked on solid resources. I mean, the basic stuff, our Mayor Garcetti, and your council has invested in putting money and resources in cleaning the city, making the city a cleaner city, and putting basic services back on the map. We're innovators, but also we need to make sure the basic foundation is taken care of, and we thank you for that. But our guys are out there every day, every night, cleaning sewers, picking up trash, cleaning storm drains, protecting the environment, providing the solid resources, services, and doing the best they can do. And we're very proud of what we do, and we do it across the city. I know Venice is one, but across the city, whether it's in Skid Row, whether it's in Lincoln Heights, whether it's in Panorama City, in Silver Lake, across the entire city, South Los Angeles, Crenshaw, we're there doing it every day. And our job is to provide the best service. We do it with honor. It doesn't matter what's going on in our lives. We are there to serve you. We're honored to serve Los Angeles and its residents. And thank you for this recognition. It means the world.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then I have some people here behind me, Sharam, Robert Vega, and many people that have not been recognized. There's a lot of people behind us that do the work, but thank you.
And let me add to that, and we've got some other speakers as well, Adele, and to the rest of you as well, to Pete, Gonzalo, and Michael, and Mike. And I first and foremost, I didn't hear about Javier until just now. So he was a dear friend, and it's with a heavy heart. I share and the condolences, and sorry to hear about the loss to all of us, to the city family and to the city. To speak to, first of all, to Councilmember Mike Bonin's award and what he does and has started with this to put us all in shame, to recognize those in the team effort that really helps the city operate. Sanitation and everything you guys do, bar none, is one of the most important functions in protecting and preserving the quality of life in our communities. And you do so with pride, with dignity, with respect, day in and day out, 24 hours a day. And I won't even mention the long list that Councilmember Bonin already went through and all the things that you pick up after, including us. Having said that, I understand that that the councilman's got you on speed dial, and as we all do with all of you. And every time I call, he calls you at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I call at 4. You said, I'm doing something for Mike. Then I call you in the wee hours of the night, and you say, well, Mike just called a half an hour ago, so we'll have to call you back. And I call you early in the mornings. It's the same thing. So I'm going to start beating him to the punch and calling even sooner. Thank you so much to the department. And it's not just protecting and preserving and the quality of life in all of our neighborhoods and communities. I don't think people realize how much you all do in this city. And the partnership certainly that we've had in CD12, you've always been an extension of our family as well. And we truly, truly appreciate it. And thank you for doing this. I'd like to turn it over to Councilmember Joe Buscaino as well.
If you'd like to see more of Adele in your district, I'm happy to give you some of the conditions we have in Venice.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to echo what Mitch just said. Mike, this award is just phenomenal. I look forward to the Yes Award. Given the work that we do day in and day out, and getting caught up in the daily activities of City Hall and responding to city services, we fail to recognize the good work that our city folks do each and every day. So this award, this YES Award, puts a shine on specific departments throughout the year. So thank you, Mr. Bonin, for bringing Adele and his colleagues to the forefront. And our deepest condolences, our thoughts and prayers are with each and every one of you and Javier's family, of course. What a horrific loss to the department. You know, I also want to recognize those who are standing behind you, Mike. The Environmental Compliance Unit, they deal with over 2,500 incidents every year. And I was proud to work with each and every one of my colleagues here just last year in giving the compliance office, the environmental compliance officers, the tools needed, give them the police officer arrest authority, which protects them and also the city from future liability. And that authority gives them the tools necessary to be responsive to the work that they do each and every day. So thank you for your hard work. Thank you, Mr. Bonin, for highlighting the work that our department does each and every day. God bless you, and thank you for your service to our city.
Councilmember Huizar, wait.
Thank you. I just want to
wait, there's more.
quickly reiterate some of the words that my colleagues have made, and thank you, Mr. Bonin, for doing this. And, you know, as we've increased the cleanings in Skid Row, and I've seen the work you do, we went from quarterly cleanings to monthly cleanings after the county cited the city for unsanitary conditions. And for you guys to, once we said the green light, you guys are there ready to do the work. And once the city provided more funding to make that possible, you were out there quickly, efficiently, and just doing the work that needs to get done in an area that needs much more attention. Not only in Skid Row, but throughout my district, you guys are responsive. And I just hope that in the next budgetary process, folks like you who are doing great work and the community wants to see more of this work, we're able to provide you more resources to do it. Thank you for the work you do.
Great, thank you very much. Councilmember Huizar.
Thank you, gentlemen. Good to see you. Thank you, Mr. President, and colleagues. It's with great pleasure today that we are honoring a great jewel here in the city of Los Angeles, an institution that, once you hear more about it, have come to appreciate not only the work they're doing now, but the work they did when the city was first evolving and transforming itself to the great metropolis that it is today. And I'm talking about the California Hospital Medical Center. And we're here today to not only thank them for the work they do, but to highlight some of the great work they are doing in the community. And first, I want to start off by recognizing the president of the California Hospital, who is with us here today, Dr. Margaret Peterson. Let's give her a big round of applause. Thank you, Doctor. I also want to recognize Nate Nussbaum, the president of the California Hospital Foundation, and thanks to all the work that Nate does. Thank you, and let's give him a big round of applause. Thank you so much, Nate. And our historian isn't here, but I was going to ask Councilmember LaBonge what year the California Hospital first opened its doors. And believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, it was opened in 1887 when Dr. Walter Lindley decided to build the very first hospital here in Los Angeles. And for over 125 years now, the California Hospital Medical Center has provided essential services to the downtown and surrounding communities. And if you were to visit, as I did just not too long ago, you would see how busy they are in providing some very essential services for people who truly need the help. The California Hospital Medical Center is a cornerstone of LA and is a recognized leader in excellence, innovation, and community service. The California Hospital's historic achievements have helped develop and shape the course of all hospitals in Los Angeles. They were the first hospital where x-rays were taken in Los Angeles. Let me repeat that. They were the first hospital where X-rays were first taken in Los Angeles. They were the first hospital that successfully transformed a frozen embryo. And in 2012, they opened the Los Angeles Center for Women's Health, and they are a leader in providing this type of medical attention to women. And in 2013, they moved their Hope Street Family Center into a brand new LEED certified building. So as you can see, folks, the California Hospital is no ordinary hospital. It's like the honor students of hospitals. It's always striving to be the best, and it is always setting the example for how other hospitals should operate. At this point, I do want to highlight another amazing undertaking of this great hospital, and that is their grants program. Every year, the California Hospital Medical Center gives out over $100,000 in grants to local organizations who have partnered with them to improve the health of our city residents. This year, these grants have been given to 3 creative and resourceful partnerships. First is the Emmanuel Presbyterian Church, which heads the Community Wellness Collaborative Project. This is a partnership between their Healing Center, Enrichment Works Circus Arts, and the Los Angeles Ballet Chance to Dance that aims to improve the health and quality of life of 400 children and families in the local community. Second is the Salvation Army's Southern California Division, which leads the Pico Union Healthy Living Program. And third is the Corporation for Supportive Housing, which heads the 10th Decile Project. It is a health care and supportive housing for chronically homeless frequent users, an integrated collaborative network serving high utilizers of homeless services in Los Angeles County. So I want to thank all these organizations for the work they do and thank the California Hospital for helping fund these programs. Let's give them another big round of applause. So with that, I do want to take this opportunity to provide to the California Hospital and their grants program a resolution signed by all the council members and our mayor, thanking them for the work they do, being an innovator here in the city of Los Angeles, and being the first of much important work that has since continued in the city of Los Angeles. On behalf of the city, to Dr. Margaret Peterson and the hospital, congratulations.
All right, let's give him another round of applause. And I want to thank you for, and I've said this often and will continue to do so. If anybody is ever involved in one organization and they can only select one, whatever that might be, get involved in a hospital because we have very few, most of them on their own or on life support, and they do so much and so good. And every one of us, unfortunately, at some point in time, perhaps, or a loved one or a family member will absolutely need them. And so get involved. You guys are doing God's work. Council member, thank you for bringing them in. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Margaret Peterson. Doctor.
Councilmember Huizar and other elected officials, it truly is a privilege for us to be here. And on behalf of Dignity Health and California Hospital Medical Center, and also our hospital foundation and our community partners, it is a real honor for us, and it is a burden that we carry as Los Angeles' only downtown hospital. But it's also an opportunity for us to be able to serve the very diverse needs of our community. As the only hospital in downtown LA that's been here for over 127 years, it truly is a privilege for the work that we do with those that have much and those that have nothing. And as you know from having worked tirelessly within the city to improve the health and wellness of this community, it truly is an effort that takes all of us working together. And so as we began to take a look at the many applications that were submitted for our community partners program, it was difficult to choose from the noble work that everyone does. And so we were able to choose 3 individuals, and what we are giving out today totals over $150,000. But that's only one hospital within Dignity Health. We're in 3 different states, in California, Nevada, and Arizona. And in total, we give over $4 million to this kind of work for the communities that our hospitals and medical centers are located in. Now, as a nonprofit hospital, we are always out there looking for folks to support our organization. And as you had mentioned earlier, the hospital business in California is one that has a very narrow profit margin. So it's only with the support of our local community that we can continue to function and serve the healthcare needs of our community. But in doing that, we also have to consider those that are out there working tirelessly in conjunction and in collaboration with us, and supporting the efforts that we do on a daily basis. And as we chose these three community partners, it was in looking at whether their mission, vision, and values aligned with the work that we were doing. And so it's a privilege for me to recognize these folks and give them the checks that they're here to collect today. But before I do that, I want to recognize a couple of folks that are with me today. Now, when you work for a nonprofit hospital, it is truly a voluntary effort, and we have a governing board that we're pleased to have support us. And the chairman of our governing board is here today, and that's Mr. Philip Hill. I'm going to ask Philip to wave wherever he is. There he is. Okay. And Ms. Veronica Perez from Veronica Perez and Associates. We also have Mr. Nate Nussbaum, our president of our foundation, who you met earlier. Nate. And we have Mr. Brian Green, who's here with us, and he's going to record this for posterity here. Now, this grant program could not be a reality if it wasn't the tireless effort of one individual. And I know she has a team of people that work for her. But I have to tell you, this individual is one that has dedicated her life to the health and wellness of our moms and babies in this community and many other programs, and that's Dr. Margaret Unakora. Dr. Unakora is a physician, and she is one of our pillars in the work that we do, not only within the hospital, but also in our community. So I want to thank Dr. Unakora for her many years of support of California Hospital Medical Center and this community. Now, on to recognizing the three community partners. The first I'm going to start out with is Emmanuel Presbyterian Church and Emmanuel Health Center. And today we have with us Reverend Elizabeth Gibbs Zender, Matthias Peterson Brandt, next we have the Corporation of Supportive Housing, and we have Susan Lee with us. Next, the Salvation Army Red Shield, and we have Irene Lewis, Robin Gardenhire, and Mario Fedelen. Again, I want to thank the council for hosting us and for being so patient with us as we recognize everyone that makes our efforts a positive success for this community. We thank you for your support, and again, having been here 127 years and being the only hospital in downtown LA, we thank you for your ongoing support.
Thank you very much. And as you can imagine, with the indigent population that we have in downtown with Skid Row and the growing population that we have with more residents coming to live in downtown, it's a hospital that has tremendous demand, and we want to thank them for providing this very important service that they provide to the downtown Los Angeles community and the region as a whole. Felicidades once again. Congratulations. Thank you, Mr. President. Taking this back there? No, I'll go back there. I'll see you guys back there right now. Congratulations.
Okay, let's go ahead and turn our attention to the agenda. We're going to continue 1H for 30 days, which will take us to February 17th. So, I'm sorry. For 2 weeks. I'm sorry. We're going to continue it till January 30th for 2 weeks. And then, so 1H, we'll go ahead and file those cards on 1H. And then on items, we're going to go ahead and take up the balance of the items for cards. That's 1, 3, 5, and 6. 1, 3, 5, and 6. So on item 1, John Walsh. And also you have cards on 3, 5, and 6. So why don't you go ahead and speak on 1, 3, 5, and 6.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org or J. Walsh Confidential, or tweeting at Hollywood Dems, email hollywooddems@gmail.com. Okay, first item of business is number 1. A lady has pretty much got knocked out of the box. She couldn't wait around, but she was here on her item on number 1. Remember, show up here, they slash, and complain, they slash your fine. Don't show up, you have to pay the full fine. So I'm telling everybody, show up. Okay, number 3 concerns the Sunshine Canyon landfill air quality monitoring services. Remember when they tried to put a landfill in East LA and one in South LA and how they fought it? Unfortunately, the people in the valley got stuck with the Sunshine Canyon landfill because they didn't fight it. The air quality at Sunshine Canyon is terrible, and just monitoring it doesn't make a difference. You have to clean it up, and as we know, growth at all costs means more trash means more burning means that our air, not just in the valley but all over the city, is more carcinogenic. The next item is the tree planting. Of course, you do a fairly good job on tree planting. We salute you, but fire protection, you don't do any fire protection for trees is about as good as fire protection for downtown LA, where a square block was burned to the ground just recently. Number 5, this concerns PacWest proposed contract, and of course this is Public Works, sanitation. This is a cost ceiling of $500,000. The cost ceiling is much too high. And, of course, number 6, I'm not going to need the full 5 minutes. Again, one of your phony rewards. Again, I've said you've been able to come up with one single reward that was paid out for a white man who ran somebody over in Koretz's district a few years ago near Century City. If you are murdered in any minority area of the city, no one is going to get up. Snitches get stitches. I have the shirt. This is a reward for targeting a lone Korean woman. It's $50,000. Incidentally, you know, Koreans have a mob too. They have plenty of areas they control in Koreatown. It's a joke. It's a real sick joke on the parents and the relatives of this Korean woman who so afraid you won't even mention her name in the item 6. And you don't get the money unless there's a conviction for assaults and robbery targeting lone Korean women between November 8th and December 30th. Instead of $50,000 reward, why don't you put $50,000 more of cops on the street? And these things happen late at night. HollywoodHighlands.org.
John Salvery on 1A. John? This is in CD8.
John
Thank you, sir.
I'm John Salvery, and
please go ahead. You can speak.
Yeah. I'm not really quite familiar with the process that we have here, but According to what I've seen in this report, in this nuisance report filed, it shows that I have a violation regarding rubbish on the property. I don't have any rubbish on the property, gentlemen. I don't have no rubbish. There are tenants that have their convenient properties, personal properties that they use for their business. I provide a trash can, and normally landlords are with a small property like that is not expected to provide that, but however, I do to make sure that the property is in a sanitary condition at all times. So what if there's any rubbish on the property, it belongs to the tenant, and I normally, if I see anything unsatisfactory, I usually talk to them and ask them to remove certain items, which, yes.
And sir, can I just ask you to verify the actual address, the location?
Oh, yeah, I thought, sorry about that. It's 10715 Southwestern Avenue, Los Angeles, California.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Parks?
From
if you can, you're disrupting the meeting. I cannot hear. If you're going to applaud again, then, and this is going to be a warning, we're going to ask you to step out of chambers. Don't do it again. Because I cannot hear, we cannot conduct the business of the people when you're disrupting the meeting, Mr. Herman. Mr. Parks.
Yes. It's my understanding on 1A has been paid, and the Building and Safety has asked us to receive and file.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and, per the council member of the district, we'll receive and file this.
1A.
We'll come back to that item. So while they're working that out, we'll go ahead and come back. We're going to hold that. We're not going to hear item 1 yet, so we'll come back to that. We do have other cards. Juan, if you want to come up on items 1, 3, 5, and 6.
Here we are again. The city creating more homelessness. How do they do this? They tell you you got rubbish in your property. Now, because you have rubbish in your property, we're going to fine you $1,491. We're going to fine you $1,425. We're going to put a lien on your house, and we're going to sell it from under you for $1,555. I'm talking about item 1. It's all liens that most of them are illegal and made up so the city can collect your money, and so the city can take your property away by selling it at auction because you didn't even know you had a lien. Do we have a crooked city? Yes, we do. Lien, $1,121. These are people that are struggling to have a place to live, okay? Let's just give this guy a lien for $3,594. We don't give a hoot. Should I say we don't give a shit about how they get the money? We were just talking about shit a minute ago. You know, the sanitation department, they collect human feces all around Venice because you don't put enough bathrooms and you close the bathrooms early? Huh? How wise can this council be? Anyway, here we go. Another one for $2,468.22. In case you had the rest of the money and you didn't pay the 22 cents, we're still going to sell your house from under you because we're missing 22 cents. $3,594.12, $2,468. We don't care who you are. You're a poor bastard, you're going to get your house taken away by a rich bastard. Okay? Lien, $2,193. Oh, I can see all the sharks or the real estate sharks getting ready to pounce on these houses and to give City Hall a few kickbacks. North Gaviota Avenue, I think I used to live there. Lien for $2,193. Yeah, the people there don't even make that much money a year, much less a month. City Council, how much money do you make a year? A hell lot more than a lot of other city councils.
That's not on, again, it's not on this.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Next, East 82nd Street, that's the ghetto. Lien for $4,400. Where do you think those ghetto people are going to get the money? Oh, my God. Lien, again, is this the ghetto? White Oak? That sounds like a white neighborhood, but it's not going to happen. 3,009. Oh, by the way, I love your white entertainment, Channel 7.
Okay, again, you're not on the subject matter. That's going to be your final.
North White Oak, West Miranda Street, $3,687. Well, let's see. Let's talk about the landfill. It really stinks. Let's see. What else? What else are we supposed to be talking about? Oh, number 6, Motion Cedillo, O'Farrell. No, I don't want to talk about number 6. I'll talk about number 5, okay? Okay, number 5. As needed, scale collaboration, repair, and maintenance services. All the streets look like shit. What are you talking about? I almost fell into a hole this morning on my way here with my bike. And believe me, you would have never found me. The damn hole is so big, the dollhouse dude was going to disappear forever. Your street, it's a piece of shit. It really is. And the way you treat your people, you treat them like that.
Okay, now you're off subject again. Thank you very much. Okay, Herman, on items. So items 1 and 6. Just 1 and 6.
Mr. Big Ears, and I say Big Ears.
Stay on the subject. If you're not going to stay on the subject matters, hold his time for 1 second. You will stay on the subject matter only, and you're not going to get another warning. You'll be asked to leave.
Sir, is that what you're saying, that I cannot speak?
Go ahead and start his clock.
So to construe my purpose here, I find that offensive when we're talking about the liens where persons such as this gentleman could not have the equal process, equal evaluation to receive a receipt along with the other people that the Department of Building and Safety on the far left here, this gentleman had spoke earlier to 5 other of your constituents, like Mr. Price at 10715 Southwestern Avenue for $1,821 lien. And what about Joe Busciano at 1028 North Alameda Street, a lien for $2,466? And what about Mr. Curran Price at 115 East 82nd Street? All these people here were very unhappy with those liens because I'm going to say it for the record. I hold this government agency accountable for not verifying by certified mail their actions towards these individuals and subjecting the individuals on these liens to more harm. The same way you harm me from having freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and to go by this agenda, strictly by the agenda, Mr. Big Ears. And so I'm going now into item number 6, if you're listening. That's the reference to having big ears, is that we listen. That we listen that the 4 assaults and robbery targeting Korean women, who I plan to vote for, grace you for Council District.
You are off subject. That's going to be
But
your
it's
final warning. That if you go off subject again, you'll be asked to leave or sit
Talking
down.
about Koreans, information leading to identification, apprehension, and conviction for snitches who get stitches, brought out to you by HollywoodHighland.org, John Walsh, and many other of your constituents who are and have told you many times, why don't you post your process of the awards so that you all
address
of
the
you
chambers.
listening will understand and know that not one $50,000 of this money is paid to individuals, only other than Mr. Koretz, who happen to have the citizens in the area catch and apprehend the conviction of those involved for the process of the reward. So, Mr. Speaker, for the record and my testimony, I demand that you post the award process so that every individual in Los Angeles, every tax holder, stakeholder will know that you are utilizing our $50,000 accurately and precisely. Because we have fine officers, sergeant in the arms, who may deserve a $50,000 stipend as a bonus to their generous hard work. But I'm going to point out one situation today during your presentation when one individual sergeant
So you're
of
off
arms...
topic. Okay, so then now you're off topic again. You're talking about the presentation. So I'm going to go ahead and you got 30 seconds left. No, you can't conclude. Hold his time. I've told you 3 times, if you go off topic, you're wasting the people's time because you're not on topic and you're not following the rules. I'm sure you filled out a general public comment card. You know the rules. You come here every single day for every single open public comment. You fill out a card on every single item, and we warn you every single day of the consequences of not following those rules. You follow the rules accordingly, or you'll be asked to sit down. So that's 3 warnings, okay? Thank you. You're talking about presentations from earlier. They weren't at all what you were talking about on item 6. Okay, we're going to ask the next speaker, Eric Peven. Please come on up. Not here? Yes, Eric Previn. Item 6.
Good morning, City Council. It's Eric
Morning,
Previn, a resident from Studio City and a candidate for 2nd District Council seat. This is item 6, which I want to thank Mr. Cedillo and Mr. Farrell here. This is a very upsetting series of crimes that have been committed, and the crimes involve targeting, believe it or not, lone Korean women in a neighborhood and taking their handbags and aggressively, and I saw 2 videos, they threw them to the ground, and I think it's critically important that we do everything we can to apprehend these characters. The question that I bring to the Los Angeles City Council is the nature of this reward, which is robust, to be honest. It is a $50,000 reward for apprehending this individual. And though I think we all absolutely concur that this is critical, it feels that a $50,000 reward for such a thing, when across the street at the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors, we will frequently have, not frequently, but from time to time, an award that's posted for $10,000. And I have seen it go as high as $15,000. And one time I saw it go as high as $25,000. And so the question becomes a question of, can we afford this kind of a reward? Because I think most residents of our city would certainly come out and point or identify for the law enforcement who could help to apprehend this character for nothing. But some would do it for $5,000. Most would do it for $10,000. My point is that This is an enormous sum of money. I absolutely want to catch this guy. He needs to be caught forthwith. But I'm concerned that on a fiscal level, because I was in a budget committee meeting recently, and Mr. Krikorian was pointing out he didn't think we could afford the Brown Act costs of a health commission, which is a few people training. So we have to ask ourselves, how can we support this community, but do so in a fiscally responsible manner? Thank you.
Next, we have Chris Ryan. No, we'll go ahead and file your card. And Dr. Tom Williams. Item 6.
Item 6. Dr. Tom Williams from El Sereno, but also previous resident of Seoul, Korea for 3 years. But I also went through the 1960s and such, and came down primarily to look at the presentations for the King Day celebrations. Why do we as a city identify 4 lone Koreans? Does it make any difference? Were they Americans or were they Koreans? Why do we make a distinction at this time regarding a person's ethnicity, race, even gender maybe? 4 people were assaulted and robbed. That's all that really matters. And shouldn't we apply the same requirements to every district within the city of Los Angeles? We have so many different types of people. But do we have to identify a Korean? I presume they were residents. I presume they might even be citizens. So aren't they really Americans? We don't identify African ladies. We don't identify African men. So why are we doing Koreas? And by the way, in 1946, the City Council rescinded the ethnic boundaries for the city of Los Angeles. Haven't we learned anything? Free at last, free at last. Thank God we're free at last. Thank you.
So we're going to go ahead and continue item 1A for 2 weeks, which will take us to January 30th for 1A. And then we'll open the roll on the balance of the items, 1, 3, 5, and 6. We got one speaker on the queue?
On item 6.
On item 6?
I just want to urge if anyone has any information whatsoever where it relates to these attacks, please contact us. We want to do the very best that we can to apprehend this individual. So if you've seen anything, even if you don't believe that it's an important thing, please call the Los Angeles Police Department. We're asking for your help, and we could truly use your help. Thank you.
Thank you. That's 1-877-ASK-LAPD, or you can call Crime Stoppers as well. Thank you very much for that. And so we'll go ahead and open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
Okay, those items move forward as well. We're going to go ahead and open up the special meeting then.
Mr. President, would you like to recess the regular meeting and go into the special?
Yes, please.
Very good, sir.
Thank you so much. And with that, we do have...
Sir, pardon me.
Yes.
I'm sorry. We first need to call the roll. Blumenfield, Bonner, Buscayo, Cedillo, England, Fuentes, Huizar, Carrasco, Corona, Labonte, Martinez, O'Farrell, Parks, Price, Weston, 10 members present, and a quorum, Mr. President.
Great. Thank you very much. We do have cards. We have 10 members present. We are in jeopardy of losing a quorum as well, so I want to get through the public comment for these. So we'll go ahead and go with a minute on each card. If we can please have Mr. Walsh. These are item 7.
And, Mr. President, item 7 is an item for which a public hearing has not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay, they'll be considered without objection will be the order. Thank you so much.
This is a revised list of projects for MTA.
Yeah.
We have Mr. Bonin up here who graces the MTA meeting, never speaks in favor of bus riders. We're not interested in projects. We're interested in rehabbing what we have. Now, A good project would be to redo the entire ventilation system at MTA and in the subway, because we're about to have an accident the same way that WMATA had. And Cato, the head of WMATA, used to be number 2 here at MTA. It's dangerous to take the subway. People use it to commit suicide. We have the highest suicide rate. We have to work on the subway at MTA before we put in any more new projects, because the damn subway is falling apart and people are going to be killed the way they were in D.C., Hollywood Highlands.
Mr. Williams, up next.
Dr. Tom Williams, Sierra Club Transportation Committee. There's an issue here, silos. Do we really care about call for projects? Yeah, because LADOT, Department of Public Works, Department of Neighborhood Empowerment, and the city council members all have their own little individual silos. We have repeatedly asked for participation of the neighborhood councils in the development of the list for call for projects. Changes of the list should also be the purview of all 4 of the agencies. That is, Department of Neighborhood Empowerment needs to have a seat at the table or a place in your silo for a call for projects. We have time for the next call for projects, and we need to include neighborhood councils because they really know what's going on locally and are not isolated from council.
Thank you, Mr. Herman.
May I have my time, Mr. Speaker? You have it at 50.
You have your time.
Okay. Then because of your inconsiderateness to listen to public communication regarding this item, all I can say is that thanks to Gloria Molina and people like Cedillo, we have a great
You're not on the. Stay on the subject.
provides us the services needed and rendered in this large metropolitan city. And it's too bad, Mr. Speaker, that you limit my time, because it shows you violate my First Amendment right and the Constitution as I speak.
You're not speaking on the subject.
But because of transportation and my rights to be heard and say the things I have to say, it gives me good note that at least now you're listening. Thank you.
Brian Barajas.
Well, I guess I have more questions than for this particular item. First, are the projects where will we find the list once it's available? And I hope that this list includes projects like bullet trains or something like that. That's the way I suppose we should be thinking bullet trains.
Okay. Eric Preven? Eric?
Good morning, City Council. It is Eric Preven calling. This item is a special item, and it has to do with the MTA project list. As I went to the city clerk's office this morning to get a copy of it, they provided, and I will submit it into the record, the following document. It is my unfortunate contention that it's not legible. It is so small, and when I said, is there some way we can amplify it, I literally cannot access the content. So I think that we need to look closely at that, and there is an item included in that, which is item number 1 under signal synchronization and bus speed improvements, that I want to comment how pleased I am about the new service, bus service in CD2 from the Van Nuys area over to the Westwood Federal Hall. This is a great detail, and I look forward to the enhanced speed here. This item calls for $2.5 million from the MTA on a $500,000 match, if I have it correct. If
Great.
there's some
Thank
way...
you. Thank you very much. Okay, so with that, that concludes all the general public comment cards on this item. We'll go ahead and open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
All right, thank you very much. That item moves, and with that, I believe that concludes the special agenda. So we'll go ahead resume the regular meeting and conclude the special meeting.
We'll adjourn the special, sir.
Yes, thank you very much. So what's left is, I believe, just general public comment. So we'll go ahead and open it up for general public comment. Ben Fortson? Ben?
I want to get 1 minute
Yes, sir.
for public comment.
Sir, yes.
I thought it used to be 2 minutes.
We have 1 minute for general public comment.
Okay, will you
Thank
start my
very
time
much.
all over again, please? I need this time. Would you please start?
We started when you approached the podium, sir.
Okay, I have indisputable evidence that Deputy City Attorney Gregory Allen Dorfman, Malika Cole, and Alan Simpson Hagen, working with Officer Tompkins, Bunn, Wong, Hernandez, Brown, and Ross, were all part of a criminal conspiracy of a false malicious criminal indictment against me, violation of Penal Code Section 182. For 3 years, they've been covering it up and withheld it from Internal Affairs. I got evidence, and I need to speak with somebody. I've been kicked out of the city attorney. I go talk to them, want to show them my evidence. They don't want to see evidence. And Chief Beck is an enablement, and he is illegitimate. The Los Angeles Police Department is a criminal old.
Great, thank you very much. John Walsh? Thank you, sir. John Walsh, next speaker. You can speak to the sergeant on the side of the ropes.
John Walsh at HollywoodHighlands.org. You want to see the Charlie Hebdo blasphemous cartoons? They're on my website, J. Walsh Confidential. But the big thing today is Mr. Cedillo has endorsed Gloria Molina. 100% great idea. But now you'll notice that no one's talking to him on the city council because he's gone against Weezer. Weezer was he's right now crying because Cedillo endorsed him. On the other side, Villaraigosa has endorsed Gloria, but Villaraigosa, if he runs for state senate, there's going to be a gigantic expose of him that never appeared in the LA Times, but will appear in the Sacramento Bee. HollywoodHighlands.org. Thank you, Mr. Cedillo.
Mr. Williams.
Second time. Dr. Tom Williams, UC Berkeley, 1976. Okay, we have a basic problem. We have several silos, one of which is the LA Department of Transportation, which apparently does not remember that City Council passed 2 resolutions, one in 2009, one in 2012, that basically says no construction of the SR 710 North Extension within the city and under the city of Los Angeles. The current plans that will be the basis of the EIR to be distributed more likely in March of this year contain clear illustrations that construction will be in the city of Los Angeles and the alignment will pass under the city of Los Angeles. Some people support this, some people don't. So I would highly recommend that you tell the LADOT.
Thank you very much. Juana Calla.
He wants me to sit down. You just called me.
I just called him, so he'll sit down in less than a minute.
He must be a rookie. Don't know what he's doing. He needs more training. A lot of cops need more training. They react too quickly. That's not what I wanted to talk about. I did fill out a special item card, but they said it didn't have my name on it, and I wanted more bathrooms in the subways because you don't have any bathrooms. I had some near misses because of that. I almost shit in my pants several times, and I almost pissed all over me. Anyway, that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about how crooked this whole process is. And why are you making so many people homeless? You damn robbers. I promise not to insult you anymore, but it's almost impossible.
Chris? Not here. I think I called earlier as well. Herman?
Nothing should limit the ability of time but grant access permitted by the law that governs the Brown Act. Is it unreasonable to cause individuals grievous harm to deny them the appropriate time, access to people who are disabled, to your constituents who come here and spend 2 hours? A student from USC back here laughs at you because she sees how ignorant all this seems. That the unreasonable cause, as indicated by Judge Ferguson, federal ruling, Mr. City Attorney, and yet even our Congresswoman, Ms. Janice, she knows better that you can't have these illegal barriers here to deny us access. So you know what? You're a bunch of foolish criminals. Thank you.
Brian?
All right. There's going to be an event tomorrow, 11 a.m. Go to LaRouchePAC.com. So tomorrow, 11 a.m., there will be a live stream of a conference entitled BRICS Nations Revive Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s Dream. Economic justice is an inalienable right. The battle for New York and for the lives of citizens of the world, we are at the forefront of this battle. My mission, therefore, is clear that I have to be literally confrontational of each and every one of you. And I am not afraid to point my finger, look deep in your eyes and souls, and say, you better join me in LaRouche PAC.
Thank you. Eric?
Yes, it's Eric. Hold on. Yes, it's Eric Previn, a resident of Studio City and a candidate against Mr. Krikorian from the 2nd District for City Council seat. Mr. City Attorney, on December 8th, 2014, item number 6 in the Budget and Finance Committee was approved, but it needs to be cured and corrected. They did not flag that it was to authorize private developers like the ones funding, for example, Harvard Westlake's plans in Coldwater Canyon, the bridge over Coldwater, to engage private attorneys from a panel to wage war against community residents using legal dollars from private developers. It's outrageous. And when it came to this council office, 3 people tried to sign up, and could not even speak. So, sir, I need acknowledgement of receipt of the written cure and correct, and I need it quickly, or at least today. And the final comment I have to say is for Mr. Wesson and Mr. Englander, who run this show. You need to open up the wide shot so that the people can be seen.
All right, thank you very much. So with that, that concludes the general public comment for the meeting. Council members, do we have any announcements? Colleagues. Mr. Labange?
At 11 o'clock. I know my colleagues here, but I don't see the Martin Luther King parade will start. And KABC Channel 7 will broadcast it as it has for many, many years. Mr. Parks is one of the sponsors of the parade, as we all do, and it will happen this Monday on Dr. Martin Luther King Day. These are announcements. Thank you.
No, thank you.
All are invited. It starts there at Western Avenue and goes west all the way through Lamert Park. It's going to be a wonderful day. We remember Dr. King.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Mr. Labange. Do we have any adjourning announcements? I'm looking around the horseshoe. Any adjourning announcements? Seeing none, we are adjourned. Oh, I'm adjourning motions. We do have one. So we're going to go ahead and, if we could get everybody to please rise. Everybody in chambers, please rise. For Council Member Parks for an adjourning motion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have two adjourning motions. I'd ask that we adjourn in memory of Joseph Chambry, a member of the Tuskegee Airmen who passed away January the 5th, 2015 at the age of 91. He was born in 1923 in Los Angeles. He was the youngest of 7 children. He enlisted in the military in 1942 and was shipped overseas to Italy in 1944 with the 100th Fighter Squadron of the Army Air Force 332nd Fighter Group, known as the Tuskegee Airmen. They were the first African-American military pilots and support team that fought in World War II. The Tuskegee Airmen overcame racism for the right to serve their country and were honored by President George Bush and Congress with the Congressional Gold Medal in 2007. The Tuskegee Airmen fought 2 years, but the bond of friendship and brotherhood lasted a lifetime. Chambry was a National Guard combat engineer during the Korean War and later spent his career with the Los Angeles County Department of Parks and Recreation. His life was complete when he met his wife. She embraced the family and friends and took care of him for over 40 years and was at his side when she passed away in 2011. Chambry didn't talk much about the service, but he held barbecues that sometimes drew 150 people and included a lot of his old Army buddies. He's survived by his sons, Joseph and Timothy, and a host of family members. Services were held Monday, January 12th, and he was laid to rest at Angeles Rosedale Cemetery. Also, a connection to that is that we ask that we adjourn in memory of Clarence Huntley, who is also a Tuskegee Airman who passed away on the same date, January 5th, 2015, at the age of 91. He also enlisted in the military in 1942 at the age of 19. He was shipped to Italy in 44 with the 100th Fighter Squadron of the Army Air Force 332nd Fighter Group. He was a mechanic and kept the combat planes flying. Huntley serviced the P-39s, the P-47s, the P-51 aircrafts, and as a crew chief was responsible for the plane of the squadron commander, Captain Andrew Turner. Huntley's earned the nickname Mother from the pilots because of the carrying of the planes that he was under his charge. He also served again in Korea as a combat engineer. After he was discharged, he went on to work as a skycap for over 60 years at the airport in Burbank and Los Angeles. He's survived by his daughter, Sheila McGee, and a host of family members. His services were held Thursday, January 15th, and he was laid to rest at Inglewood Park Cemetery.
Mr. Labange.
Remember, we need Egbert, one of the great actresses of our times. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And seeing no other adjourning motions, I'm sure we will next week, unfortunately, adjourn in Javier Polanco's memory and honor as well. With that, colleagues, be safe and have a great weekend. Thank you very much.